Today's breaking news that Donald Trump and his White House handlers definitely do not want you to hear features a doctor answering this very important question.
What are the symptoms of dementia that you can see in our president?
And the doctor's answer cites examples that are so uniquely Trump it causes that daily beast toast to break down in laughter. Of course, dementia is not a laughing matter, but you'll understand after hearing it for yourself, coming up next. Speaking of hearing it for yourself, I've compiled some examples that support the doctor's virtual diagnosis to come. Things that Trump has uttered in just the last 24 hours. First up, watch as he once again proclaims that he's stopping wars while citing a war that did not happen. This came to my attention in a post by Republicans against Trump that said, "We stopped the conflict between Cambodia and Armenia. It was just starting and it was a bad one. There was never a war between them. They're 4,000 miles apart."
Going on for years. They came to my office, the two leaders, two great guys. One was there 22 years, one was there 7. And they both said during the entire term of their office, all they did was kill people on the other side. And at the end of an hour, we were hugging each other and holding hands. It was an amazing thing, and we settled that war. That was not settlable, as the expression goes. Cambodia and Armenia, it was just starting, and it was a bad one. Think of that. We have, Cambodia, Armenia.
Just a little border skirmish that Trump claims to have settled, and that marked the second time this week he showed cognitive slippage while telling that story.
I think that we settled Azerbaijan and Albania.
Azerbaijan is actually pronounced Azerbaijan. Armenia is pronounced Albania.
Will someone on his staff please say, "Sir, don't tell that story again"? Just say you settled the war between the Yankees and the rebels. That will be easier for you to remember. And then this morning, he had another ADD blunder while talking about Charlie Kirk. This time he used one of his favorite words, and that redirected his mouth to jump the tracks again. Have a listen to both, and then I'll have the doctor's diagnosis.
Tell Erica and the rest of the family.
Well, I'm going to just give him my love. There's nothing much you can say. It's you talk about the great things he's done. I mean, he's been amazing. He's had a tremendous influence. For a young man, did a great job. He did a tremendous job. And he had a hold on youth because they loved him. They respected him. And, if you go back 10 years, those colleges were dangerous places for conservative. And now they're hot. They're very hot. Just like this country is hot. This country is doing so well. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world now.
My condolences on the loss of the French family. Can I ask your coach, how are you holding up over the last day and a half there?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
So what I just showed you is circumstantial evidence of cognitive decline in Donald J. Trump. If we only had a doctor to explain exactly what we've been seeing.
Dr. Gartner is in the house. You are a man who has diagnosed President Trump as having dementia. John, what are the symptoms of dementia that you can see in our president?
So the first most important thing to realize about a diagnosis like dementia is we're really evaluating someone against their own baseline. So we have to see a major deterioration in functioning, in language and thinking, in psychomotor performance, in impulse control, in a whole variety of areas. So what a lot of people don't realize is that Donald Trump used to be a very articulate person. He used to speak with a high level of vocabulary in very polished paragraphs. Now what we see is not only has his vocabulary gone down, but his ability to actually put together sometimes he's very articulate, right? Because with dementia, people go in and out, right, of functioning. But there are times when he's really unable to complete a thought. Actually, sometimes is unable to complete a word. It's called a phonemic paraphasia. There's dozens of examples there online as sort of humorous bits, where he mispronounces words, but really says words that are not actually English words, that have a fragment of an English word, and like saying mishes instead of missiles, or Christmas instead of Christmas. This is something that only people who have a organic brain disease do. It's not something people just do when they're tired or when they get old. So one of the things things that we see is this great deterioration in his language, in his ability to put together sentences and words, but also he's starting to show what we call this kind of random sort of thought where he really free associates and a tangential speech, where he's talking about one thing and then he starts talking about another thing and then another thing. For example, the Hannibal Lecter example is one I like to use. He was lying and saying that they're sending all these immigrants from insane asylums, right? And then he goes, Silence of the Lambs. Anyone seen Silence of the Lambs? Well, Silence of the Lambs is a movie about insane asylums. Okay,
right.
So now we've moved from immigrants to, has anyone seen this movie? And then he goes, the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Nobody likes to talk about him anymore. Well, first of all, he's not dead, so he's a fictional character, so he can't be the late Hannibal Lecter. As someone who's psychodynamically oriented, the fact that he would choose Hannibal Lecter as some kind of great figure tells us something about his psychology.
Right.
Right? That would be his ego ideal, someone who's a serial killer who eats people. That sort of tracks.
It is one thing and tragic when a private citizen shows signs of dementia. It is another thing when that person showing those signs is the president. Dr. Gardner's assessment that Trump is exhibiting clear markers of dementia should send shockwaves through our democracy. We are talking about the commander-in-chief whose every word and decision has global consequences. When the leader of the free world can't finish or loses track of his thoughts, it's not really funny, it's alarming. A democracy already on the edge can plunge quickly when a leader loses the capacity to govern, while those around him are too partisan and too loyal to call out what they are seeing. I'm Dan. Thanks for watching. Please leave your thoughts with a comment below, and let's continue to occupy democracy together.